Trump's latest brainwave iPhones, now with extra. Eureka! Well, strap yourselves in, folks, because it happened again. On May 23, 2025, just when you thought things couldn't get any more Trumpian, he announced a bold, new, frankly terrifying idea. He threatened a whopping 25% tariff on Apple iPhones. Yes, the shiny rectangles we all stare at instead of talking to each other. He wants them made here, in America, every last circuit board. His demand was crystal clear in that uniquely Trump way. Apple, he basically thundered from some gilded podium, needs to bring iPhone production back to the USA. He wants those factories humming, not in China but in, I don't know, Ohio? Imagine that. Your iPhone, designed by Apple in California, assembled in Cleveland. It's a vision, all right, a very, very expensive vision most likely. The announcement sent immediate shockwaves. Not just through the tech world, but through anyone who owns a phone. Which is, let's be honest, pretty much everyone. A 25% tariff isn't just a gentle nudge, it's more like a two-footed tackle on the global supply chain. America first, or how to make friends and alienate people, globally. So, this iPhone tariff threat isn't just a random outburst. It's part of a much grander, much more nationalistic strategy. It's called America First. You've heard the slogan. It sounds patriotic, doesn't it? Like a superhero catchphrase. But in economic terms, it means something quite specific. It means prioritizing American businesses, American jobs, and American manufacturing. Even if it means stepping on a few international toes, or a lot of them. Tariffs are the big stick in the America First toolbox. Think of them as an entrance fee for foreign goods. If you want to sell your stuff in America, you pay a tax. The idea is that this makes foreign goods more expensive. And in theory, this makes American-made goods more attractive. It's protectionism, plain and simple. It's like putting a big keep-out sort of sign on your country's economic borders. The stated goal is noble, or at least, it sounds noble. Bring jobs back home, revitalize American factories, reduce those pesky trade deficits we hear so much about, make America the workshop of the world again. It's a powerful narrative, especially in communities that have seen industries decline. Apple's response, the sound of one hand, not clapping. Now, how did Apple, the target of this tariff tantrum, react? Well, with the kind of carefully worded, deeply unenthusiastic statement you'd expect. They didn't exactly jump for joy. There were no press conferences with Tim Cook waving a tiny American flag. Instead, it was more like a corporate sigh put into a press release. Something along the lines of, "We are committed to the US economy and blah blah blah." They are masters of saying very little, very politely. You see, Apple has this tiny little thing called a global production plan. It's incredibly complex. It relies heavily on manufacturing hubs in Asia, especially China. For decades, they've built a system that's efficient and, crucially, cost-effective. Shifting all of that to the US overnight, that's like trying to turn an aircraft carrier on a dime. It's not just about snapping your fingers and saying, "Build it here." There are reasons it's over there. And here's the kicker. Apple has been making some big moves, but not towards the US, not primarily. They've been investing heavily in India, billions of dollars. They're trying to diversify their manufacturing, to have options beyond China. This is smart business. It spreads risk. India is eager for the investment. It has a large workforce. Wall Street's wild ride stocks go whoopsie. When a former president, who might be president again, threatens a tech giant, what happens? Well, Wall Street tends to get a bit jittery. And by jittery, I mean it often resembles a toddler who's had too much sugar. Apple's stock, predictably, took a tumble. Investors don't like uncertainty. And a 25% tariff on one of the world's most popular products is the definition of uncertainty. It's like a financial earthquake. The tremors were felt immediately. It wasn't just Apple feeling the pain either. The entire tech sector got a case of the nerves. Companies that supply Apple with parts, companies that compete with Apple, companies that just happen to be in the same stock market index. They all wobbled. Because if Trump is willing to go after Apple this hard, who's next? It creates a climate of fear, and fear is not good for business. Unless you're in the business of selling fear, I suppose. Reactions from other tech companies were mixed and mostly whispered. Some were undoubtedly worried. They rely on similar global supply chains. They could be next on the tariff hit list. Others, perhaps some of Apple's competitors, might have seen a tiny, devious opportunity. If iPhones suddenly get 25% more expensive, maybe their phones look a bit more attractive. The experts weigh in. Can you even make an iPhone here? Spoiler, it's complicated. So, the big man wants iPhones made in America, but can it actually be done? We turn to the analysts, the people who spend their lives studying these things, their collective opinion. Well, let's just say they weren't exactly brimming with optimism. Most of them suggested it's highly impractical, if not nearly impossible, on the scale Trump imagines. It's not just about patriotism, it's about logistics, skills, and a whole lot of tiny components. Then there's the cost. Oh boy, the cost. Experts started running the numbers, and the predictions were eye-watering. Some estimated that an American-made iPhone could cost significantly more. We're talking hundreds of dollars extra per phone. Why? Because labor costs are higher in the US, and the entire specialized supply chain for smartphone components doesn't currently exist here. Building that from scratch would be astronomically expensive. Your fancy new iPhone could suddenly cost as much as a small car. It's not just about screwing the phone together, you see. The supply chain for an iPhone is a global marvel of complexity. Hundreds of components come from dozens of countries, tiny screws from Japan, processors from Taiwan, screens from South Korea. Assembling it all in one place is the final step. Tariff Palooza. It's not just Apple in the crosshairs. This iPhone tariff threat isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a broader pattern. Trump has always been a fan of tariffs. He wields them like a golden-plated hammer. During his presidency, he slapped tariffs on steel, aluminum, washing machines, and goods from China. Apple is the current star of this trade drama, but they're unlikely to be the only actor on stage for long. Other companies and sectors are likely watching this very closely. The auto industry, for example, has been a frequent target of tariff talk. Foreign cars, especially from Europe and Asia, could be next. If the America First doctrine is fully re-engaged, expect more announcements, more threats, more industries suddenly finding themselves in the middle of a trade war. It's like a game of tariff whack-a-mole, and everyone is a potential mole. And it's not just about companies. Trump's trade policies have often targeted specific countries. China has been public enemy number one in the trade wars, but Europe hasn't escaped unscathed either. Disputes over aircraft subsidies, digital taxes, and agricultural goods have simmered for years. New tariffs could easily reignite these tensions. It's a delicate dance, international trade. And Trump's preferred dance move seems to be the stomp, on everyone else's feet. The global trade crystal ball cloudy with a chance of chaos. So what does all this mean for the future of global trade? If these policies continue, we could see a significant shift. For decades, the world has moved towards more globalization. This America First approach pushes in the opposite direction: more economic nationalism, more walls, fewer bridges. One immediate consequence could be retaliatory tariffs. Other countries will hit back. American exports could face new taxes in foreign markets. This would hurt American businesses and workers. It's the classic boomerang effect of protectionism. What goes around often comes around. The long-term impact on supply chains could be profound. Companies might hesitate to invest in long, complex global supply chains. We could see a fragmentation of the global economy. Regional trading blocs might become more dominant. The spirit of international cooperation could take another hit. It's not a pretty picture for global harmony. This bold move on iPhones is a massive gamble.